We are live here on Spectrum News 1. The time right now is 12:01. Breaking news today. State authorities decided to remove all children from a wilderness therapy camp in the western part of our state. This comes after a 12-year-old boy died at the camp earlier this month. Our team of meteorologists mentioned the extreme heat on the rise across our state. Many areas stretching from the mountains to the coast are under a heat advisory today. Let's go ahead and bring in meteorologist Doug Lindsay to dive deeper into the impact the heat is having across our state. Doug, there is no doubt these are some dangerous temperatures. New this morning, for the first time, we are seeing all angles of what happened November 13th when police arrested a couple accused of smoking marijuana at a Charlotte bus stop. Things quickly escalated and a bystander caught on camera multiple officers kneeing and punching a woman. Very little information is being given at this time, but we have been following the tweets on their website, and just take a look. This is one of the tweets from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, and it says numerous law enforcement officers were struck by gunfire in an active situation. Welcome back to Spectrum News 1 and happy Sunday to you. This is such a beautiful day, great day to get outside. The meteorologist is always our best friend with temperatures like this.
You missed it because
we are live here on Spectrum News 1 at 4:30. Breaking news from UNC Chapel Hill's campus. Classes are canceled for the rest of the day as protests resume on campus. This is an escalation from earlier today. The situation began this morning. Police began clearing protesters around 6 a.m. today. The protesters had tents set up on campus demanding UNC address their stance on the Israel-Hamas war. A nice weekend ahead. You know, I love that patio weather.
Yes.
Can I join you too?
Come on.
Yeah, let's make it a party, right?
You bring the food.
Yeah, you bring all the food and everything,
Absolutely.
and we'll just show up.
Yeah, it sounds good. All that sounds good.
And with universities and colleges under so much pressure over anti-Semitism, New York Governor Kathy Hochul says legal action will be taken if discrimination takes place. Siobhan Riley, Spectrum News. Federal law enforcement officers, hundreds of other first responders, and a heartbroken family gathered in Charlotte today to remember and honor the life of Deputy U.S. Marshal Thomas Weeks. He was killed 1 week ago, along with 3 other officers who were serving a warrant to a fugitive suspect in Charlotte. Weeks, who is from Mooresville, was just 48 years old. He had been with the U.S. Marshals Service for 13 years, the last 10 which were with the Western District of North Carolina. He leaves behind his wife, Kelly, and 4 children. And our Molly Hurley is one of our crew stationed outside the memorial service today. Molly, what was the atmosphere like as the service got underway?
There were...
All right, thank you, Molly. And our Jordan Kudish, she has been outside the memorial service today as well. Jordan, there's so many people who came out. They gathered to honor the life of a hero.
A beautiful yet heartbreaking.
It is so amazing to see how many people came out to remember his life. And Rob Wu has been tracking the response to today's memorial service on social media. Rob, what are people saying online?
I want to share some of the photos.
And we will continue our coverage for the funeral for Deputy U.S. Marshal Thomas Weeks throughout the hour with what you need to know. We'll have all those details. In the meantime, you can always follow us as we honor these fallen heroes on our Spectrum News app. You can get it on your Apple App Store and Google Play. Today, opening statements will begin in a long-awaited federal lawsuit that challenges North Carolina's photo voter ID law. Lawyers with the state's NAACP claim the law, which was passed by the Republican-dominated General Assembly back in 2018, discriminates against minorities who are more than twice as likely not to have a photo ID. Supporters of the law say it will help protect against voter fraud. The original law faced several legal delays, which is why you didn't need an ID to vote until this year. Any decision overturning the law would mean you wouldn't need to show ID for the upcoming election in November. But you will still need to bring your photo ID if you are heading to the polls for the current second primary election taking place. Early voting in that election wraps up Saturday at 3 p.m. Election Day is May 14th.
We'll see children from last year who learned the sign language in pre-K.
Making classrooms more inclusive. Coming up next on Spectrum News 1, how one teacher is making sure everyone in her classroom feels welcome. That's next. The Charlotte community still feeling the pain from last Monday when 4 officers were killed in a shootout with a federal fugitive. Today, hundreds of people gathered for the funeral of U.S. Deputy Marshal Tommy Weeks. There are 2 more funerals in the coming weeks. Correction Officer Alden Elliott will be laid to rest on Thursday, and the service for Correction Officer Sam Peloche. That's next Monday. Pro-Palestinian protests continue throughout the country, and right here in North Carolina, hundreds of protesters were arrested on college campuses over the weekend as students call on schools to divest from Israel. This video that you're looking at right now is from the University of Michigan, where protesters interrupted the commencement speech. And Columbia University in New York has canceled its school-wide commencement ceremony after what it's called an incredibly difficult few weeks of protests. And right here in our state, a group called UNC Faculty and Staff for Justice in Palestine is holding a news conference today at the Peace and Justice Plaza on Franklin Street in Chapel Hill. It follows the protests there yesterday from UNC Students for Justice in Palestine, the group behind last week's protests, which took over the main quad on campus. Laverne Lucier places flowers every other week at the memorial site where her son was gunned down 1 month after his 18th birthday in his Durham neighborhood.
All of a sudden, my daughter called me and she was like, "Mom, I hear gunshots and they sound close." And I always told her, if you hear anything in the neighborhood, just call 911. And then she called me back and she was telling me that it was Sincere.
August 10th marks 3 years since Lucier received that phone call about her son, Sincere Burrell, a 2020 graduate of Bull City Youth Build in Durham. His murder that shook up the community still hasn't been solved. What do you want the world to know about your son?
Sincere, he was a beautiful person. He was sweet, respectful.
Gun violence is taking the lives of a startling number of children and teenagers across North Carolina and nationwide. Firearms are the leading cause of death among children and teens in our state.
Let's be sensible, because you'll feel different once this knocks on your front door and you've lost a child.
We spoke with Lucier the same day family and friends attended the funeral of Chloe Fennell, a 5-year-old who lost her life to gun violence this month.
But for every mom that has lost their baby, you know, that's your baby.
Experts blame the crime trend on the pandemic and the number of countless guns left in unlocked vehicles.
Just keep them in a safe place, because so many guns that are being used have been stolen.
According to NorthCarolinaSafe.org, in 2020, 211 firearms were stolen from vehicles in Raleigh. In Durham, 62% of the 185 gun thefts from cars in 2022 stemmed from unlocked vehicles.
It's always painful to come out here because I feel like he shouldn't be here. Come out here.
Every time Lucier visits her son's cemetery about 5 minutes down the road from his memorial, it's a reminder of why she keeps advocating for an end to gun violence that's taking the lives of countless children.
You're going to always be a reminder in my walk of life, and I'll continue to do things in your honor till the day I leave this world.
What a powerful way to keep the message out about her son. A 2021 behavioral risk factor surveillance system survey revealed more than half of the firearms stored loaded at homes in North Carolina were unlocked. On August 10th, the mother you just heard from is hosting a back-to-school giveaway drive in her son's memory. It's at 6 p.m. at Duke Park in Durham.
Come on over here, all right?
A trip to the doctor changed 71-year-old John Lloyd's life in 2009.
Yeah, put your legs up.
When he found out he had stage 3
I'm just going to take a quick listen to you.
colon cancer at the age of 57.
I got as close to the edge of the cliff without falling over as a person can get.
Colon cancer is a very deadly cancer.
The doctor who delivered the news,
He had a less than 50-50 prognosis of surviving.
John's brother, Stephen Lloyd, who lives in South Carolina.
I've come up behind you to be the poster child for how not to do it.
Right under our noses. Yep.
Right? So there is no magic about who it will catch.
With no family history, John walked into his brother's clinic for his first colonoscopy after experiencing rectal bleeding 15 years ago. At the time, he didn't think screenings were necessary until his brother found a large lump on John's colonoscopy.
Relax that by your side.
Since receiving treatment, the cancer has gone into remission. John now gets routine screenings because he knows how far he's come.
Had I waited another 6 months or a year from my first screening where they found my cancer, would I still be here today?
No, this procedure saved your life.
John, who is now retired, spends his time researching and raising awareness by working with government agencies to spread the message about the importance of routine screenings.
I'm here to try and help other people not get close to the edge of the cliff. If you get a colonoscopy when you're supposed to, more than likely you'll have a life free of all of the treatment for cancer.
In Raleigh, Siobhan Riley, Spectrum News.